So, why is it that every time you finally figure life out, it changes again? Maybe you just started feeling comfortable, like you finally understand who you are and where you're trying to go. And then, boom, a new season, a new challenge, and suddenly you feel stuck again. This is something that the Digidestined from Digimon Last Evolution Kazuna had to face. They had to confront the idea of growing up, losing touch with the past, and stepping into the unknown, a feeling that I'm sure we're all pretty familiar with. And that's why in today's video, we're going to be tackling the idea of being stuck in a new season. And in order to do so, we're going to be breaking down why we fear the unknown, why nostalgia can trap us, and why we need to use our time wisely. And by the end of this video, you'll be able to step into your next season with nothing but confidence. Now, the truth is, we don't fear the future itself. We fear that we can't control it. See, in Digimon Last Evolution Kazuna, Tai and the others found out that their partner Digimon were fading away. Now, this is because partnerships with Digimon thrive on potential, something that kids have an abundance of. But as one gets older, that potential is realized and the bond begins to break. Now, this is devastating news to the Digidestined, and understandably so. They felt helpless, but instead of accepting the new season, they tried to resist it, trying everything to keep things the same. But deep down, they knew that the old way of life was ending and that something new was coming. Now, for me, this hits pretty hard, like on a personal level, because like me, and I'm sure a lot of the target audience for this movie, grew up alongside these characters. And during the time that this movie came out, I was in my early 20s, like 22, 23, the exact same age as Ty and Matt and the others. So I really felt like I was growing up with these characters. And just like them, I felt like I had to reconcile leaving my childhood and stepping into adulthood. And honestly, I just really wasn't quite ready to grow up, even though I knew that it was coming. But by watching this movie, one of the things that I really learned about it is that fear of the future is normal, but it's not an excuse to stay stuck. And for Ty and Matt, they knew they had to continue fighting, even though it meant losing their partner Digimon. Ty even goes so far as to encourage the other kids to wake up, telling them that they had to grow up one day, even though it may be hard. They pushed through that fear and even unlocked a new Digivolution, one that represented them stepping into their next season. And after the battle, they were able to spend the final moments with their partners and were finally able to move on, stating that no one knows what tomorrow would bring, but anything can happen. Finally embracing the idea of stepping into a new season. And obviously, I've accepted being an adult, and I've just come to enjoy some of the newfound freedoms that it offers, such as being able to go where I want, pretty much when I want, being able to afford things now that I'm making my own money. And I've even been able to turn my pastime into something that's a little more meaningful. But the key thing I want you to get out of this is that growing up is a part of life, and each season will have its challenges. But it also has new opportunities that you just couldn't see before. So what I want you to ask yourself is this: instead of fearing what's next, what if you focused on what's possible? The truth is, we cling to the past because it reminds us of who we were. But is it stopping us from becoming the person that we need to be? See, for Ty and Matt, being a Digidestined was everything. It was their whole identity. So when they found out they had to move on without their Digimon partners, they felt lost, like they weren't them anymore. I mean, long gone were the days of them adventuring throughout the digital world, taking on enemies like Myotismon or the Dark Masters. Now they can't help but wonder if they'll even be the same person going forward. And I feel like this relates to a lot of us because we're so used to identifying ourselves with different things and labels of this current season that it could be hard for us to imagine ourselves any other way. And honestly, I get it. My struggle with the past isn't really one out of nostalgia. It's more out of regret. See, for the longest time, I saw myself as someone who just angry and tense all the time. And because of this, I felt that I was unworthy of the next season that God was trying to bring me into. I truly believed that I deserved to remain exactly where I was. But then he gave me this beautiful insight, is that yes, the past shaped you, but it doesn't define you. And for Ty and Matt, they were able to discover who they wanted to be after losing their partners. While yes, they still had the fond memories of everything that they went through, but they no longer had to live there anymore. They were finally able to move forward, and they began chasing their future careers, with Ty becoming a lawyer and Matt becoming an astronaut of all things. And as for me, I've accepted that there are parts of my life that, yes, I don't really like, but that doesn't mean that I can't change them or improve myself. I learned that by continuously working on myself and using the past as a lesson and not as a prison, I'm able to finally step into the next thing that God has for me. And that's why the question I want you to ask yourself is this: is your view of the past a foundation to build on, or is it a weight holding you down? I found that too much time leads to procrastination, and too little time leads to panic. But either way, time isn't the real problem. It's how we perceive it. Manoa Belushi, the antagonist in Digimon Last Evolution Kizuna, couldn't handle the idea of growing up. She, like our protagonist, went through the pain of losing her partner, Digimon, and she set out to prevent all of the other Digidestined from experiencing the same pain that she did. And in doing so, she created Eosmon, a Digimon with the ability to steal consciousness. In using it, Manoa sought to essentially freeze time, keeping kids from entering adulthood, allowing them to stay with their Digimon forever. But in doing so, she actually robbed them of a chance to truly live. And honestly, I see so many of us doing pretty much the same thing when it comes to our own time. Because we either fear that we have too much of it and keep delaying our next step, saying that, oh, I'll get to it eventually, or we fear that we have too little of it. So we try to overcompensate and just rush through life without actually enjoying it. And honestly, I fall into the latter camp. I feel this pressure all the time because I want to create something meaningful, like a legacy, something that lasts and that's going to be here way after I'm gone. And sometimes I feel like it's just not happening fast enough. Like if I don't make it happen now, then I never will. But that's when I feel like God helped me realize that time isn't about how much you have, it's about how you use it. But after her defeat, Manoa realized that she tried to grow up just a little too fast when she was younger, causing her bond to break sooner rather than later. But Ty and Matt showed her that while we do make mistakes, as long as we're willing, we can change our future no matter how long it takes. Because it's all about making the most of the time that you do have. And honestly, I'm still learning how to slow down my own life, to actually enjoy what I'm building and not just sprint towards the finish line. Easier said than done, I know, but being grateful for the time I do have is the first step. And that's why I want you to take a moment and just slow down, be present, and actually enjoy the season that you're in. Throughout our lives, seasons will come and go. Some will be harder than others, but when you have the courage to face the future, stop clinging to the past, and make the most out of the time that you have, you'll be able to step into any season with the utmost confidence that you'll succeed. So if this video resonated with you, tell me how you plan on tackling this next season in the comments below. And when you're done, go ahead and check out this video to learn why you need to fail more if you want to be successful.